I'm Christy Weigel, the CEO and co-founder of United Against Slavery, and I'm honored to be able to share more information about the National Outreach Survey. We know that human trafficking impacts the most vulnerable among us, and it's taken the dedication of so many stakeholder groups to implement significant progress in this fight. Those successes take on many forms, but beyond the victories that we openly discuss, there are many underlying challenges impacting the entire anti-trafficking movement that predicates a call to action from all of us. Similar to the domestic violence movement needing to increase awareness and resources in the 1970s and 80s, we need to find out what is and isn't working to ensure that survivors have access to the much-needed continuum of care. For any of us serving on the front lines, we see the lack of funding, outdated statistics, lack of best practices and standards, and if we're going to be real, division among leaders. We talk about these issues behind closed doors, and we recognize that they impact us both professionally and personally. The physical, financial, and mental costs can take a toll on any of us, no matter which stakeholder group we serve in. And we're stakeholders ourselves. So United Against Slavery was built by stakeholders to help other stakeholders. We know that data fuels funding and resources, and there's been a dearth of empirical data to evaluate the current climate of the anti-trafficking space. None of us have all the answers, so it's important for us to stop and listen to each other so that we can resolve these lingering challenges together. The longer we wait to address them, the greater impact it will have on slowing down progress to help survivors. So in 2016, we introduced a pilot study for 12 stakeholder groups where we had survey respondents representing 47 states and 70 countries. In addition, we launched the 2018 Lingering Medical Symptoms Pilot Study, where 27 trafficking survivors from 15 states, they confirmed more than 70 lingering medical symptoms after they were freed from enslavement. We quickly confirmed the efficacy of our work and the need to reach a larger population of stakeholders. So in preparation for the National Outreach Survey, or the NOS, we've now partnered with more than 50 experts from 22 countries to not only draft topics, but also custom survey questions for more than 23 anti-trafficking stakeholder groups. That means that every stakeholder group will have unique questions asked specifically to them, including concerned citizens who will have public opinion survey questions. After we complete the NOS, we will release the first ever Governor's State Report on Human Trafficking, where leadership in all 50 states will receive a custom GSR report with all the data collected within their state. That means all members of Congress, all governors, all lieutenant governors, and the constituents in their state will have access to our reports to know what is and isn't working on the front lines from those who know best. In addition, we'll release a national Governor's State Report on Human Trafficking and a global report on human trafficking. We look forward to inviting experts and academia from dozens of universities to assist with our data analytics and report writing. We're pleased to add that our Appropriations Committee will analyze multiple financial data sets and provide a more accurate cost to combat human trafficking on the front lines within the United States. Although the first National Outreach Survey is focused here in the States, we'll have global participation even as we prepare to expand and repeat the NOS every 2 years to measure ongoing benchmarks. You may be wondering how our comprehensive data collection will help combat human trafficking. Our focus is to collect data on both sex and labor trafficking of all ages and all genders. We want every population to be represented, and every stakeholder group will have open access to data to help them pursue additional resources where it's needed most. We've already spoken with numerous national agencies who will use our data to support their existing work. Our desire is to see some of the wealthiest philanthropists join the fight in their giving pledges and use our data to endow significant funding for frontline anti-trafficking work. There are hundreds of data points on the NOS, and we'll collect data from multiple stakeholder groups on how to increase prosecutions and convictions. Identify additional healthcare professionals who may be a touch point for victims during exploitation, or even confirm service providers across the nation that offer resources for Native Americans. Academia will disseminate our data from an online open source database and expand upon their own research. And we're thrilled to have bipartisan congressional support for our national data collection, where we hope to see our data support the introduction of new legislation to appropriate significant funding for frontline stakeholders, including salaries. In addition, there's a global entity that hopes to use our data and raise hundreds of millions of dollars to fund shelters around the world, just so survivors have more options for short and long-term housing, and leaders don't have to spend so much time fundraising. We don't know every way that the NOS data will help the anti-trafficking movement, both here in the United States and globally. But the feedback that we're receiving across the globe is that it's brought hope and encouragement that a research project of this magnitude is finally happening, and that every voice will be heard and every adult will have an opportunity to participate. Again, we're stakeholders ourselves, and we know that the magnitude of issues needing to be addressed can seem unattainable at times. With all of our progress, most of us know that this movement still has elements of being broken, competitive, and highly divisive at times. But we have an opportunity to come together in unity, even in the midst of our diversity, and collect much needed data to help equip and empower each of us on the front lines. There is more work to be done, and fighting for freedom never ends. In fact, if you look on the top left corner of our website at unitedagainstslavery.org, you will notice an American flag that constantly waves, no matter which page of our website that you're visiting. It is a reminder that our work continues through the successes and the challenges. You know, we all have a life journey, and life is definitely hard at times. We all have our reasons why we join this fight to combat all forms of human trafficking, and serving in this movement has had its impact on all of us. So we want the National Outreach Survey to be a celebration of all that we've accomplished in every stakeholder group. But we also want it to serve as a collaborative platform to address many unresolved challenges. Because you're important, your contribution is important, and we are stronger when we work together. So we invite you to participate in the National Outreach Survey, no matter where you are in the world. And let your voices be heard. Survivors are counting on us to figure this out. May we rise up to the challenge.